what I see time and time again are people stuffing their storage rooms full of boxes that are disorganized and kind of based on what rooms they pick things out of, but not always and not necessarily. I have the joy of seeing hundreds of homes per year, and some certainly show better than others. I don't say I have an eye for design at all, and that's why I bring stagers through all of my listings and listing appointments. I do, however, notice and appreciate when a seller puts effort into their home before putting it on the market. It has an incredible impact on buyers and how they're able to visualize themselves getting into a new space. But this video is not about how wonderful stagers are or how much buyers appreciate them or sellers appreciate them. This is about 5 things that people are still not doing properly even if they stage their property. I like to refer to these as my pet peeves when I'm showing a home because they can be perceived by buyers as a lack of care or lack of effort on behalf of the sellers. These are all relatively cheap fixes that I see all the time in real estate. People have put their time and money into staging their home, and they've done a wonderful job with the painting and the flooring and updating the kitchen. If they've done all these major projects, it's always disappointing when I see one of these 5 things pop up. Pet peeve number 1, mismatched or burnt out light bulbs. Something that can happen to people when they live in a home for a long time is they become blind to those things that they see every single day. And I do think that light bulbs can be one of those issues. Maybe a light bulb burnt out in your bathroom 6 months ago and you just grabbed whatever was nearby to put it back in, and now you have a string of 4 lights and one of those lights is discolored. You may have gotten used to that over time, but when buyers do come through the property, they are going to notice it. There have been far too many times where there are people who have clearly put effort into staging their home and they've decluttered and they've done all of the very, very basic level stuff, but then I look up in the bathroom and I see this. It's a small thing, and I do honestly chalk it up to people just not remembering at the time. And this is your friendly reminder to make those changes. Pet peeve number 2 is curtains that are an improper length. I'm not even touching on curtain rods because changing those can be a little more costly and it can take a little more time to move those up, patch, fix up paint, all that jazz. All I'm talking about here is curtain length. Curtains should just hit the floor, and nothing throws your perception of a room off like curtains that are the wrong length. If your curtains are falling to the floor and bagging up at the bottom like the jeans of me and all my classmates when I was 13 years old, then you've got a bit of an issue. It makes the room feel small, it makes it feel cavernous, and it's such a simple thing. All you have to do is take a measurement of the actual length your curtain needs to be and bring it to your local tailor. It can be done in a couple of days for a couple of bucks. Make sure that you're taking a look at your curtain length so that it really plays to the size of the room that you're in. Pet peeve number 3. Storage rooms that look like they should get the highest bid in storage wars. Clearing out your house is going to be one of the first things that any stager is going to tell you to do. They're going to tell you to get the knickknacks off your kitchen counters, out of your living room, out of your bedrooms, and you have to put that somewhere. And what I see time and time again are people stuffing their storage rooms full of boxes that are disorganized and kind of based on what rooms they pick things out of, but not always and not necessarily. And their storage room that could have been so huge and so open and so organized is now almost like a dungeon. I've done showings before where I couldn't open the door to the storage room more than a couple of inches because of how disorganized all of the boxes were, and some of them had fallen over to keep the door shut. And remember that, yeah, your kitchens are important, your bedrooms are important, your bathrooms are important, but people are also going to be looking at your house for how much storage it has. It's one of my worst pet peeves is when I go into a storage room and I have to try to explain to my buyers the process of decluttering your home for sale so that they can kind of justify why that storage room is overflowing with stuff right now. It's not hard for you to grab a storage locker for a couple of weeks or a month while your home is on the market and people are coming through it. Renting a locker for some of those large boxes and totes that you know you're not going to need for a couple of weeks while your house is on the market is worth every penny, in my opinion. What you're trying to do is get everything off the floor of your storage room, get those walls organized, get the shelves all cleaned up so that when buyers walk in, they're impressed by that just like they are the nice open living room that you have or the updated kitchen that you have. You want them to look in the storage room and not see a red flag. Storage rooms don't sell homes, but lack of storage can certainly hinder sales. Pet peeve number 4 is one that I might get some feedback on. And for me, that is using fake plants in your home. I love plants. I'm a huge advocate. I got this guy here, I got a couple over here, these guys here, got some over here. I'm a big advocate for plants. I love them, so I have a bit of a soft spot. And when I go through a home that has artificial plants or fake plants scattered throughout, I find it a little bit disappointing. I know how easy it is to pick up a palm, a pothos, or a snake plant. These are easy plants that you're not gonna be able to kill even if you tried. Fake plants have their place, in my opinion. I think that they can work well with photos, they can work well with videos, but when it comes to actually showing your home and having buyers come through, fake plants can give off this overly staged vibe of almost like an IKEA showroom. And that's not a feeling you wanna go for. Real plants that are growing, living things can add a softness to your home. They can add some more character while not feeling overly staged. And I've seen this with buyers too, where they will see plants that look too perfect and they'll walk up and try to see what type of plant it is. Maybe they want it, and when they realize it's fake, it almost brings to attention what else might be staged, what else might just be a cover up here, where natural plants, living plants can really add a comfort to viewing a property. Fifth and final pet peeve that I have, this I have seen far more times than I would care to admit, and these are using stock photos in frames. Stagers are gonna come through, they're gonna recommend that you get rid of photos of yourself and your spouse and your kids, because having those in picture frames on your cabinets or on your dressers, it can be a little off-putting for buyers that are coming through your home. Totally get that. But what I've seen far too many times is people who are using stock photos of other people in those frames. It's like, imagine walking down the aisle in Walmart that has all the picture frames and you see all these uncomfortable model families sitting around their dog looking at you. And when you go through a home and are trying to feel comfortable in a new place, that's not what you want at all. You're trying to make your home feel natural and comfortable to buyers that come through. And when anything that you do that makes it seem like you're working too hard to stage your property, it's off-putting. And so having stock photos of other people in your photo frames does make it feel like you're walking through IKEA again. Something I'd love to see more of is people taking advantage of their own photos. Everybody has a great camera in their pocket at this point. And so go out and take photos of your nearest natural park that's nearby, some trails, a cityscape of the downtown, maybe it's close to where you live. Show that stuff off and put those in picture frames. Make it a little bit more personal, but show off the neighborhood that you're in as well. Something I did see once that was very funny was someone had taken ridiculous photos of their dog in odd positions and places, not this, but like this, and it was hilarious. As me and my buyers were going through, we were so engaged in what those different photos were in each different room, and it was a conversation starter. They really remembered that home and were telling other people about the photos that they saw throughout the house, but also it helped them, after seeing 5 or 6 properties, to remember that one property very well, because they spent extra time in each room engaging with these photos while looking around. In the end, there are countless things that you can do to increase the showability of your home, and those major things that we hear and think about all the time, they certainly take precedence. You have to declutter. It's a good idea to paint. It's good to get rid of unnecessary furniture that doesn't increase the size or perceived size of rooms. These are all important things. What I'm talking about here in these pet peeves of mine are really just those small details. After you've put all your time into getting your home ready to list, do a final walkthrough of your property and get an idea of what a first impression will be like from somebody else. Because if you have put all this effort in already, you want buyers to know that they're coming into a home of someone who cares about the finer details and cares about doing things right. Thank you all so much for tuning in again this week. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time. Really hope you enjoyed that video. It was a lot of fun for me. I hope it was beneficial for you. If you want to see more from me, feel free to subscribe here or check out another video down here.